Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Schlage number 40-100. This is a C keyway knob lever cylinder. This is packaged with multiple tail pieces and is a 6-pin cylinder. So the 40-100 is representative of a cylinder that will fit into multiple series of lock sets by Schlage. The reason it's able to do that is because it's composite or generic design that will pass several of those different types of lock sets, and also that it includes different tailpiece lengths, allowing you to do so. So we have different length tailpieces. The two shorter ones, the two longer ones, even though the tailpiece 2 and 3, I believe, are pretty close to the same size. Yeah, they're not exactly. So I don't know for sure which tailpiece goes, except I can make an educated guess. I would imagine, and let's just talk about it now, this will work in the A, AL, D series levers, which are long discontinued, H series, which would be the same as an A line, and then an ND series. So 6 different series of locks. I would guess that the A and the H are going to use the same tailpiece. The D and the AL, the D series knobs, levers, and AL may all use the same tailpiece. The ND series probably uses a different tailpiece. That only really accounts for 3 tailpieces, so it might be the the D series knobs. Those may be the same as the A line. But nonetheless, the A, the AL, the D knob, the D lever, the H, and the ND series is what this will work in. So this would be a conventional cylinder, and the 40-100 is literally a conventional cylinder. It's quite typical and common. This is in the C keyway, and you can order the 40-100 in any of the classic keyways: C, E, CE, F, EF, G, FG. There are 7 of them. Can be ordered in any of those. You can also order it in a Primus XP. You can order it in a UL version, the UL version of the Primus XP. The UL version is simply a cylinder that has been tested to resist multiple forms of bypass and attack: picking, impressioning, drilling, hammering, wrenching, a variety of different test criteria have been put into that method to give it the UL qualification. The UL test standard that they're referring to there is the UL 437, and that's what defines all of the criteria by which it is able to achieve the UL 437 compliance. You can do a Everest 29 SL and a Primus XP Everest 29 SL. So the SL series is quite a departure from the typical pin tumbler lock in the sense that it has tumblers, but it's a really different format of cylinder. So it's available in all of those different technologies of keyway, but this is just a classic keyway, and it's C, the most common, certainly by far, of all of those. 626 is the finish, weighs about 0.23 pound. This also came with 2 each of the threaded cap retainers and threaded cap retainer springs. I can't tell you if it's standard for those to be included, and the reason I say that is, well, they're in the packaging, but they're not mentioned in the paperwork. So be mindful. I wouldn't have expected them to be in there because there is a threaded cap with the cap pin retainer and the spring inside of there. Okay. Now, a couple of 6-pin original key blanks. I believe this part number for the blank is a 35101, and it's O-bitted, meaning there are no cuts, and that would be basically a 0 cut on the key blank. So that's what's included with this. Let's switch to the screen view where we can take a look at some supporting documentation. So this is the item here that we are indeed looking at, the 4100, the 40-100 and a 626. Not much to see here. Knob lever cylinder with multiple tailpieces. There is a link below this video to the cut sheet, and it's basically just from the full line catalog that will allow us to review what we've already gone over, the different part numbers for the different cylinder platforms, a description of what's included. But there's also a link below this video to the installation instructions, or the manual, and this answers the questions earlier of what works where, is the bottom line. So, I do have 4 tailpieces here. I do not see all right, so let's take a look here and see what we have in the packaging. Okay, now comparing what's in the package to the installation instructions, it does become clear pretty quickly what we're dealing with. The first tip, of course, is that we're dealing with conventional, nothing Primus and nothing Everest. So as we look through the installation instructions, we're going to be able to remove from the conversation what we ought not have, and old D-series levers Everest and all Primus. So I don't think we're going to have this one, and I don't think we're going to have this one. And as I look at and I lay out all these tailpieces, it's clear that we have the A700-031, and the distance from the shoulder to the tip, and I'll just provide those for us here. A700-031, 0.88 inch, 0.88 inch from here to the end. The next tailpiece is certainly the C503-524. That tailpiece is 0.646. 0.646 is what we have here to here. The AH and ORB knobs, this longer one, that dimension on the A301-338. .108, 1.108. Then the last unit we would have would be this one, and this is the one that's black. The N523-023, that length is going to be 0.935. 0.935. Okay. So what's really tipping us off here is the placement of where the retainer pins will seat. And you'll notice that the lever and the lever and it is not thoroughly clear which of these two we have because they appear to be identical. Looking at the bottom of the tailpiece, the orientation of the tailpiece itself as it's been joined to the disc area, as you rotate that, 90 degrees, the tailpiece moves as well, so this orientation is going to change. It could mean that they're simply the same tailpiece, and what makes them different is where the back of the cylinder has been prepped for the retaining pin for the threaded cap, because the construction of the cylinder itself is going to require that it be moved, meaning that you'll have I do believe we have the 524, but when they need to move the pin, it's because they're getting it out of the way of the preparation that you would need for the Primus finger pins and for the Everest check pin as well, and the side bit milling, of course, on that Everest. So that's why they're going to move that threaded pin. Page 2 does indeed show us how that pin gets moved, because on the right side of a Primus Everest, you've got, you know, things happening on this side of the cylinder that are in the way, so they can't prep for that threaded pin, and that's why they move that retainer pin, and that's why they move that. Okay. Your tailpiece will be vertical for levers and horizontal for knobs when you hold the cylinder up. And the reason that it appears to be vertical here, which it is when you install this into the lock, you of course rotate it 90 degrees, then as a result rendering this horizontal, because tailpieces need to go in locks horizontally. But that's why on a lever it's vertical. If you were to install this horizontally and install it into a lever, you can still get it to work, but you won't be able to pull that key out with that lock working correctly. And you'll sort it out and realize it's the timing of the tailpiece. Okay. Now finally, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page here, and that's where we can review not only all of the Schlage products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog and several other encyclopedic documents, just a tremendous quantity of them, such as service manuals. The Everest service manual is here. The Primus service manual is here. Multiple other documents, multi-point hardware, windstorm solutions. There is wiring diagrams, templates, service manual here, cylinders and key blanks quick reference guide. That's very handy. That will allow you to review what all of the different key blanks look like from Schlage, and this is handy. The key blank that would come with this would indeed be the 35101, which is right here. They also show you what the multiplex structure of the classic conventional obverse keyways look like right here. And here's our C, the most common of all Schlage cylinders, cloned and copied countless times. All right, let's wrap up this video on camera. Very handy cylinder to have available, and it's more so, of course, to have the tailpieces available. It might be, you know, I wouldn't in particular stock this in the sense that, you know, if we're going to do a project, I'm going to know what lock I'm working with, and I would order that cylinder, because obviously you're going to pay for the additional tailpieces. However, I could also argue that it would be really handy to have a couple of these laying around or available to you, like maybe in a service truck if you show up to a job and you don't know what locks you're working with, but they knew it was Schlage but didn't know anything other than that. This might be a way to approach that. So if you have any questions on the Schlage 40-100 in a C keyway or any other keyway at all, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you very much.